Sunlight is magical.
Yeah, no, it is because it was so over. It was horrible here earlier, and the sun shone then, and it was lovely. So
Yes,
really nice.
yes,
Okay,
I love the
yeah,
sun.
perfumes and bright.
Good, good. Bring the
Okay,
good energy, right?
yeah,
Fantastic. Okay, Angela, we're going to do hypnosis to contact your higher self
yeah.
and ask specific questions about the period between lives. And
Okay,
so let's begin with we're going to lay back as if we're taking a nap. Our eyes are closed, and we're going to use deep, long breaths to relax as much as possible and stimulate the subconscious. And so let's begin our long, deep breaths together. Long exhale. Every breath is purging the mind of all stress, and all distractions are leaving the mind with every deep breath we take. Every breath makes us feel better, gently unraveling tension in the body, releasing stress, feeling good with every breath we take. Oxygen is life, and we are imbuing your body with oxygen. And because your body is still, this oxygen is going straight to your brain, awakening dormant parts of your mind, the parts that we call the subconscious. You are doing perfect. These long, deep breaths are producing a relaxing, hypnotic state in the mind. I want you to imagine yourself as you continue these long, relaxing breaths. Imagine that you're asleep on your bed. Your favorite pillow is under your head, and your favorite blanket is keeping you warm. You can see your lying, peaceful form on the bed. There is a smile on your face. Perhaps you are dreaming a pleasant, happy dream. And now imagine the ceiling of your bedroom is gone, and you can see the full moon, big and bright and beautiful. Its magical light touching your face, relaxing you more. Beyond the moon, you can see the nighttime stars. They are crystal clear and so beautiful. And now the walls of your bedroom have disappeared, replaced by an enchanted forest. You can see beautiful trees in the dark night. You can hear the sound of the nighttime animals. Some bright eyes are looking at you as you sleep on your bed. They look at you with wonder mystery, and interest. And now you notice a tiny fairy flying in the moonlight. She catches your attention. She is so beautiful, so interesting. And she says to you, "Go deeper." And you do. I want you to imagine you are at the top of a staircase. You are barefoot and you're wearing a beautiful white gown. You are glowing with a magical energy. You look radiant. There is a banister on the right. See your hand holding the banister. You are about to take 10 steps to the bottom of the staircase. Each step you take will relax you more and more. See your barefoot stepping down from the 10th step to the 9th. You feel the cool surface of the stone stairs on the bare feet, and you relax more. See yourself going down to step 8, and your heart rate is slowing down. You take another step to step 7, and a magical energy fills your mind. The next step, 6, slows down your breathing. Your breathing is soft and gentle, peaceful and slow. See yourself stepping down to step 5. Your mind is clear, quiet, empty, and yet powerfully focused on our intention today of communicating with your higher self. Stepping down now to step 4. The body is perfectly still. No stress. No tension anywhere. You feel wonderful. Step 3. The cool stone on the sole of your feet. The handrail beneath your right hand. Step 2, we're going deeper, feeling more and more like sleep. We take the final step and we see that we are in front of a beautiful oak door. This door has a brass doorknob. You see yourself reach out and turn the brass doorknob. You swing the heavy oak door open, and you see a ball of light. This ball of light represents your higher self. Take a long, slow breath, and when you are ready, tell me what you see.
I see a big, huge ball of light, and I'm just standing underneath it, and it's shining down on me. It's like it's shining a light down on me.
Beautiful. What else do you see?
It's like the most brightest, like a moon. You can see the crevices, but in the crevices you can see kind of bubbles within the big ball of white light. It's very beautiful.
Fantastic. What do you want to say to your higher self?
I want to connect to my higher self, and my higher self to connect to me, and I want to ask it about what happens between lifetimes. So there's a council that's between lifetimes that help you set up your next lifetime. So when you finish one lifetime, you haven't completed your journey on a lesson, then that lesson is transferred over to your new lifetime with the help of a guide who's part of the council. So I want to learn more about how this happens, why does it happen, what way it's set up, who sets it up, and how that works. So my higher self is going to guide me with the answers to that today.
Wonderful. Your higher self has heard your request. You should be seeing a vision now. Relax your mind.
Yes, so there's green pine trees and a house in the distance, like a little cottage. So I'm wearing a dress, I'm a maiden, and I'm going down to this little cottage. And there's a cot, a child's cot in there, and it's rocking from side to side. It's a wooden cot.
Oh,
There's like a ghostly being, like a guide, pointing over to a lake before the woods and telling me to come this way. So it's sitting me down on the bank. It's like the bank of the river or the lake. And he wants to show me something. He said from sunlight to moonlight, from day to night, this earth is your playground for learning experiences. It's broken up by moonlight and then sunlight. So moonlight is the end of the day in the adventures, and the sunlight rising means the beginning of a new day to continue on your adventures. And he's saying that life is a playground to learn. As he said, people take life too seriously and they don't understand that it's like a school, that you're here to learn about yourself in a 3D reality experience playground.
is life like a video game?
Yeah, it's kind of like virtual reality. Like you experience it, but it's not. People who are like have no purpose or no understanding or comprehension of what life is. He said it's the simplest way to describe what life is. It's a playground, a school of learning, like the halls of learning. He said you're beyond that. Your soul is beyond that. So in this, it's like you're wearing a costume, and that's your human body. He said that you wear it for a certain length of time and you learn your experiences, and you shed the human form, and then you go back into the light, and then we meet again, he said, and then we go into another one. He goes, that's the nature of experience and reality in this quadrant in space and time. That's what the purpose of life is. He said, would you like to show me, or would you like me to show you some more? So I'm going to say yes. He's shown me the night sky with the moon shining down on the lake, and it's like a kind of a corridor. He said darkness is a portal into the other world. It's the unseen. He said you can't see past the dark, like you can't see past what's in life. But he said, because we're here today, he's going to show me what's behind life. He's taking me through a wooden door. There's like books and candles on a table. He's sitting there in that chair. I am him. He's kind of like a guide with me. I'm sitting at the table and there's like calligraphy pens and old parchment paper and stuff. He goes, you sit and you write your contract to what your next life will be, how you want to improve yourself, and what lessons do you want to learn in a 3D virtual reality, 3D reality. He says you sit here under the candlelight and you sit and you think how you want to improve your soul. You want to improve different areas, so you might want to become more compassionate, more trusting, more experimental, more adventurous. You write down what you would like to become. And then he brings me over to a table and he said, this is where it's discussed at length. It said, it doesn't always look like old tables with candlelight and stone walls. Every person will experience their crossover point in a different scene. It just depends on the soul, but this is the way my soul sees it. So there's wooden chairs around the table, and there's big pieces of paper on the table. They said the guides that are around this table are like your friends. They know you really well. They're personal contacts across your lifetimes.
Yes.
So when you come in and you've had a life, say, of like a maiden who fell madly in love with a guy, and then the guy died, so she knew love and she knew loss. So the guy that died will come. He'll come and sit at that table because he becomes one of your guides.
Now, did the maiden ask to feel love and loss, or just love?
He said everything is agreed before you go in.
Okay.
You see, he said that each experience is set up uniquely to generate an emotional response. So while she got to experience the love and then she got to experience the loss, that created a unique perspective in her mind and generated a unique emotion. And it was that emotion that she needed to acquire to experience a more in-depth emotion.
I understand. What else do you see?
It said the stars are written. It's written in the stars. The stars are guiding you and helping you. It's kind of like he's showing me a little bit like it's like a simulation, like a scientific simulation, like a futuristic simulation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is there an advanced civilization behind this? He said yes.
What part of the universe do they come from?
He said that there's starcrafts and spaceships and everything that circle the planet as observers on lifetimes. He said my one is Orion. Okay, show me Orion. They're building the most strongest and most resilient populace, and that you have to endure these emotional programs for endurance, that you have this like a depth of emotional spectrum. It's to harden you against the cruelties of the dark space. It's done in levels, and like an initiate up to a master, it's done in levels. And it said that art is like a simulation in order for you to learn those levels. It said there's the real art and then there's the simulations. It said every time you achieve a new emotional length, like an emotional, you know, the way there's love, there's surface love, and then there's like hardship, totally intrinsically experienced love with like all of this full spectrum of emotions with it. So say there's a person who has like the emotion of love and they're on a level 1, and then there might be another guy who's on a level 200. So what they're saying is the simulation of the art is a playground for you to go in and experience different experiences that give rise to this higher levels.
Fascinating.
It said there's a kingdom that keeps priests and priestesses. They're like priests and priestesses. They're like in servitude to an order. He said, "I'm one of those. I'm in an order."
Wow. You or the maiden?
Like my soul matrix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about this order.
Yeah, they're trying to build this golden paradise, a civilization of pure perfection. And it takes lifetimes to get into. It's so organized to be like perfection, you know. It's like you know the way like you have different lifetimes in past life regression, and some of them are really good and some of them are only crap, you know.
Yeah.
But this is like the one, if you were like 2 million years old, this would be like the best lifetime.
Is this heaven?
No, it's an emporium, an empire. It's all about regal and royalty and court and order, and you have to be like a really old soul. And what it means by an old soul is a soul that has many incarnational merits, such as like emotional intensities that are perfected. Like a young soul, a soul with no lenten breath of emotion mastery wouldn't go to this world. They wouldn't be invited. It's a soul that's like has a lot of mastery over emotions.
I see.
They're saying that like your life should be hard, your life should be difficult, you should be experiencing unique emotions because that's what life is about. It's like a learning hologram or a learning playground. Because once you have that memory becomes part of your archives, and you've earned that, and that becomes one of your powers, and you can draw on that power at any time. And then as you go through the universe beyond this human body in 2020, and you go into parallel lifetimes, you have like a unique array of abilities that you've achieved across maybe like 20,000 years of incarnation on a humanoid form.
We need our hardships and our suffering, otherwise, we won't have a strong character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it builds character and it builds strength and morals and it builds, but it's saying that like, you know, as Alex is saying, like everybody wants to be king or queen in an empire. You know, in a past life, they want to be the king or the queen or Cleopatra or King Louis. They want to be someone important. But it's saying like the king and queen, you have to have this really mastery of yourself, and your morals and your compass have to be really developed. And that's why only certain people get to experience, you know, magnificent lifetimes or memorable lifetimes. But they've been trained for that across thousands of years for that unique position.
Yes.
Like they've been trained emotionally and they're hardened emotionally and they can tolerate more power and more consequence of power and like death and suffering and be able to talk on behalf of people and make judgments that are going to directly impact people's, you know, their subjects' life and stuff. He's saying like you don't just put like an inexperienced soul in there. You have to put someone who's got mastery over certain emotions to be able that they don't crack up in it, you know.
Yes.
So when a human is like crying at the universe saying, "Why did you make me experience this? Why did this happen to me? Why am I feeling like this?" There is a reason to why your life made you experience that. And he said the clue is in the emotion. So if you can observe the emotion that you're in and it's becoming more adept in within that emotion. It said like you have your active memories, which is like your current lifetime's associations. So it's like, oh, I don't like that. That's the time Mary took my teddy bear when I was 5 years old. You know, that's like a recent memory that's affecting your lifetime. But he said when you go back to source, when you go back to your soul matrix or your soul template, you're surrounded by all your lifetimes of every existence. And it said that soul, your soul has a personality and a character. Your soul has a unique personality, and it might be a little bit different to this personality in 2020, because all the emotions will be removed. But like you're building to become a more integral, a more moralistic, and like a moral code. You can be an evil person and have a moral code, or you can be a good person and have a moral code. A moral code doesn't denote whether you're good or evil, you know.
Hmm.
It's your own truths. Your moral code is your own truths.
And why does pain and fear from our past lives echo in our present lives?
And it's saying that, you know, the lesson wasn't complete, so it carried over into the next lifetime.
How do we resolve that echo of fears and pain from past lives?
You see, on one hand, Alex, it's saying like you can go in and you can remove that, but then you lose all of the energy that was generated. If you think of it that way. Whereas if you complete it, then you get like a energy that's completed. So there's like it could be something, could be like emotional, say grief. So you have grief in one lifetime and then you die, and then that grief carries over to the next life, and then you have the mastery, the full mastery of the emotion of grief. But
Oh,
then in a different lifetime, you might be going along on this amazing lifetime and you need grief, but you need to process grief quickly. So because you've done this grief across 2 lifetimes, you can process your grief really quickly, and then it doesn't become a major impact on your lifetime.
I understand. You have to master grief or master fear.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
nearly like
lesson.
yeah, it's nearly like a video game. Like each emotion is a power. So it's like, oh, I have that card, the magic power of grief, mastery of grief. So, okay, I'm in the battlefield. All my best friends have died, and because I have this mastery of grief, I'm able to continue on like 2 weeks later, and I've fully processed the grief of those armies gone, my friends gone. Whereas another person who didn't have that mastery of grief could spend the next 3 lifetimes trying to get over the pain and agony that was you know.
Yes.
So it's saying that once you've done the emotional program, that becomes your own power then. That's one of your powers. Because you've studied it from every angle. You've studied grief. You've went through the anger at the god or the gods. Your frustrations of why this had to happen to you, the sadness, the loneliness. Like you've gone through all those emotions in depth. So when you're on that new lifetime, and it happens again, you're like, okay, I get it. I understand why this is happening, and like you process it. You still run through the emotion moment by moment by moment, but instead of it taking you like 2 lifetimes to get through, you'd process it within a couple of weeks. Like,
Right, right. These are superpowers to develop, aren't they?
yeah, well, it kind of gives a different kind of justification or reasoning for what is life and why we're here and what's the purpose of it all. I'd like to
Yes.
ask a question. Why are we learning these emotions? Like, what's the point of us learning, becoming adept in all these emotions? I'm gonna ask the guy, the white ghost guide guy. He said that there's a bigger picture, a ceremony, and he said it's where you meet your union, like a grand marriage. It said it's a rare event and it happens every like 50 million years. He said, imagine each emotion is like a pearl, and it said on that marriage day you open up your wealth to who you're marrying in in the sky, and it's like you have you're made of stars and planets and constellations of where all the places you visited in the earth, or sorry, visited in the universe. And he said your emotions are like pearls or diamonds or treasure in treasure boxes that are laid by your feet. And when you present yourself, you're made of these your whole star maps of where you've been and where you've incarnated and where you've learned and where you've done everything,
Hmm.
gathering more and more pieces of yourself. So there's a grand marriage, and then what happens? So two two unique kind of, it's almost like coordinates or like a geometric pattern. They meet and then they merge and they create this mega consciousness. So you're for my case, I'd be the female and the male would be the male. And then there's a epic lifetime created.
Wow. I love that. I love that
It's
scene.
cool, it's cool, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful.
He said, like, you might think the day-to-day drudgery is boring and pointless and why you're here and like what's the point of it all? But he said it's a resilience that you're learning on Earth.
Yes, I
He said
agree.
like he said that there's so many creatures in the universe that are stronger than human. But then he said, you see, if you think of it this way, so there's like the young soul and the old soul. So an old soul, he's saying, is a soul that's made up of memories from loads of planets, loads of star systems, loads of types of incarnational experiences. And when their travel paths light up to where they've been, where that little soul has been, the whole a part of the universe lights up, and that's their awareness. That's their subconscious mind. That's their personality. That's who they are. So he said, like, the older the soul, the more uncovered parts of the universe that soul will have. But the more you uncover about the universe, because the universe isn't always a beautiful place, it can be made of a lot of evil as well. So you have to go through what appears to be like density or negativity. But he said it's in essence it's not like that. It's it's where some of these universes, it's where some of these worlds have been made, but they've been made with a reason. Okay, so I want to ask it, who decides where you go. Or like he said something about Orion Empire or something like that. But like why so okay, why is me and Alex on Earth? What are we learning? It said we're learning the light. The sun, in particular the vibration of the sun, and how to be luminous in dark times. How to be the happy person in a room where there's an epidemic. Even though there's an epidemic, it doesn't affect the happiness and the light that we project.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. That we're made of light and we shine light and we just be light. And everywhere we go, there's like a healing effect, or like, you know, you might go through a valley where there's really unhappy people, but at the end of that valley, they're all laughing, they've a new chapter opened, they're all happy again, and that was because you walked through their valley.
Yes, the uglier the world is, the more precious smiles and laughter and hugs, and that becomes more precious.
Yeah. So I'd like to go to the council and see. So yeah, so he's saying like every person has a soul plan, like a map, a soul map. And you can have an inspiration to go somewhere. So say someone was really into Egypt and they wanted to be Cleopatra, or they wanted to be in a story like Cleopatra, right? Where they got the experience of being in, you know, her timeline. He said you can work towards that. So with the elders and the councils and the star alliances, it's almost like a job interview. You can say, I'd like a lifetime like this. But imagine having 50,000 souls under you, serving you. So in order for you to qualify into a lifetime like that, you have to have almost like a CV, or like a list of attributes that make your soul eligible for such a position like that. Like he's saying that there's no chance in a lifetime. You have to earn your incarnational role.
Mm-hmm.
So an advisor meets you and said, yeah, maybe in 7 centuries from now you could go we could talk about you having a lifetime like that. And then you're sent off with a contract, and you have to learn this, you have to perfect that emotion, you have to affect all these different types of emotions, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you come back, and if you stick to your contract and you pass that contract, then you get that incarnation with 50,000 people under you. So there's like a structure and a guidance and like a whole. He's saying incarnations are not by chance; they're really um, uh, intrinsically coordinated and like debated almost between council members. No, she wouldn't be able for that experience. No, she wouldn't be able for this personality. Do you know what it's like? It's like a seating plan at a dinner party. You know, there's a seating plan.
Yeah.
And you'll sit this person beside that person because they both have an interest in money or something, and then you'll sit that person over there beside that, so you know, as the orchestrator of the dinner party, you know where to put the different personalities so that there'll be a good harmony at the table. So these people, these councils, pick out souls that they think would be a good fit. But anybody, what he's saying is anybody can elect themselves to go into a lifetime like that.
Wow.
So
And
yeah,
to be clear, you cannot you cannot live the life of Cleopatra, but you can want to live a life similar to
similar.
Cleopatra,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only one Cleopatra. Like, yeah,
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah.
And we have time for one last question. What
Okay.
question do you want to propose to the council?
So you said Orion. Who is the council? Who is my council? It's an empire in Orion.
Oh, tell me more about that.
And yeah, and it said it can, like, I'm here, I'm doing something on Earth because I have something to do in Orion when I come back.
Oh, this is your mission. Eh,
Yeah, it's almost like, so anyone might be on Earth, but they're here, they might be gaining points to go into a different civilization, you know?
mhm.
It's kind of like a video game with
It is.
powers and levels and worlds and
Yes. And
I think,
just like a video game, I want to get the high score. I want to look in all the levels and I want to save the princess. I want to do
mm,
all those fascinating things.
yeah. But it's almost like on Earth, obviously you're here to enjoy being on Earth, but you're also here to get your powers
Yes.
for another lifetime that you're working really hard to get to. But it's interesting. It's all soul contracts, Alex. It's all like we could do a session where we in depthly go into the soul contracts. This would be so interesting for people. You could go down, okay, you're on Earth in the year 5000 in Orion or something. I'm only making this up, but we could actually do it and get the exact download of what's my true purpose on Earth, why I'm here, what's my mission, who am I here on behalf of. Like you could actually do that in a session.
Yes, let's do that for the next session.
Okay. Yeah,
I want
perfect.
to I want to thank your higher self for
Yeah.
these powerful images that help us understand why we are here and what we are supposed to be learning. Thank you and thank the council for those powerful messages. And we will visit them again soon. And in the meantime, we will do our best to learn the lessons and gain the emotional mastery of the powers that we are here to understand. I'm going to emerge you from hypnosis now.
Yeah.
When I count to three, you'll be wide awake and feeling great. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. You did
I'm really
fantastic.
busy. I feel really
Really?
busy.
Wow. You did really great.